Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Only one woman could win Joey Graziadei's heart in the season of The Bachelor. He proposed to Kelsey Anderson in the season finale. The couple is simply enjoying their engagement rather than racing down the aisle. The couple plans to marry in 2027. With Joey off the market, several of his season's participants found love after leaving the show. Others, like as Jess Edwards, attempted to find love again on season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise. One villain from season 28 delivered unexpected news: her South African partner of 2 months is relocating to the United States. Continue reading for all the details. Joey Graziadei's season, like any other Bachelor season, had tension among the women. Maria Jorgas was at the center of much of the tension between the contestants. At one point, she went on a date with Joey, contender Sydney Gordon, and one rose. Someone needed to go home. Joey ultimately handed Maria his rose, albeit he did send her home a few episodes later. Sydney Gordon recently opened up about how her 2-month relationship with her partner began. She split the story into 4 TikTok videos. Sydney claims to have been looking for love in South Africa and has visited the country 3 times in the past 7 months. She was dating someone there for a few months, but things didn't work out. She met Nathan, her most recent lover, at a festival in South Africa. After she returned to the United States, they remained in constant communication. She went back to see him a few months later. I met his entire family and all of his friends, and we were completely compatible in every way. I had no idea that such a love existed until I met Nathan, she stated of her new relationship. She just revealed on social media that her boyfriend is traveling from South Africa to the United States and will be living with her after only 2 months of dating. While they didn't get along on the show, Maria and Sydney reconciled last year and resolved whatever was between them. When Joey Graziadei slipped the glittering engagement ring onto Kelsey Anderson's finger during that warm, rose-lit evening in Tulum, Bachelor Nation erupted into cheers. It had been a season filled with travel, heart-racing dates, and tearful goodbyes, but the ending, the proposal, felt almost inevitable to those who had been watching their connection build week after week. Kelsey's smile that night was the kind of smile that doesn't just reach the eyes, it wraps around a person's whole being. Joey's own expression, a mix of relief, elation, and something deeper, the look of a man who had finally found what he had been searching for, sealed the moment as one for the franchise history books. But if the ending of The Bachelor season 28 was a neatly tied bow for Joey and Kelsey, the rest of the cast's stories were far from finished. In fact, the aftermath of Joey's season quickly became one of the most talked about post-season landscapes in years. Contestants who had once clinked champagne glasses together in the mansion now found themselves spread across the globe, chasing careers, chasing closure, and in some cases, chasing love in places no one could have predicted. Kelsey and Joey, ever grounded despite the whirlwind of reality TV fame, had been adamant from the start, there would be no rush down the aisle. Their joint interviews after the finale carried the same refrain. "We want to live in this chapter," Joey said in one interview with People magazine, resting a hand on Kelsey's knee as she nodded beside him. "There's so much joy in being engaged. We're looking at 2027 for the wedding. It gives us time to plan, to travel, and to just be us without cameras in our faces every second." Kelsey had agreed wholeheartedly, explaining that she had dreamed of a long engagement not out of hesitation, but out of intention. "There's a lot of pressure to keep the momentum going after a public engagement, but we want our marriage to be grounded in real life, not just the Bachelor bubble. We'll have our wedding when it feels right." With the lead spoken for and wedding bells still years away, Bachelor Nation's attention naturally shifted to the other women of the season. Jess Edwards, the bubbly kindergarten teacher with the neon manicure and habit of leaving post-it notes for the crew, had been one of the first fan favorites announced for Bachelor in Paradise season 10. It wasn't a shock. Jess had openly told Joey during their one-on-one that she wanted to keep her heart open no matter the outcome of his journey. I don't believe in forcing something that isn't there, she'd said with a shrug, but I also don't believe in shutting doors. Paradise hadn't been the smooth sailing Jess hoped for, though. Between shifting alliances, old flames from the beach reappearing, and the new format that paired traditional romance arcs with competitive challenges for a $500,000 prize, she found herself more tangled in the drama than she anticipated. By week 3, Jess had quietly removed herself from the villa to protect her peace, a move that earned her praise from some fans and accusations of being too sensitive for the franchise from others. And then there was Sydney Gordon. Sydney had been branded the season's villain early on, a label she now wore with a mix of pride and frustration. They gave me a storyline, she said in a late-night Instagram live months after the finale, but it wasn't my whole truth. People saw the worst moments of me amplified. Still, she couldn't deny that the tension between her and Maria Jorgas had fueled much of the season's narrative. The two women's most infamous moment came during that awkward 2-on-1 date with Joey, a setup designed for maximum discomfort. The trio had been whisked to a remote coastal bluff, where the wind carried the faint scent of salt and seaweed. Joey, caught between the simmering resentment of two strong-willed contestants, handed his single rose to Maria, sending Sydney home. For some viewers, it was poetic justice, for others, it was the start of Sydney's redemption arc. What few expected was that, away from the cameras, Sydney and Maria would eventually patch things up. It started with a cautious exchange of DMs after the season aired, then a coffee meetup just to clear the air. From there, mutual friends kept inviting them to the same group events, and eventually, the two women found themselves laughing over memories of how tense things had once been. That reconciliation set the stage for Sydney's latest bombshell, one that had the Bachelor gossip accounts working overtime. According to Sydney's own series of TikTok videos, the story began not in the Bachelor mansion, but in South Africa. "I've been going back and forth for about 7 months now," she explained in part 1 of the series, her voice casual as she leaned against her kitchen counter. 3 trips in less than a year, the first 2 were honestly me just trying to figure out what I wanted after the show. I dated someone there for a little while, but that didn't pan out. It was during a music festival on her second trip that she met Nathan. The video cut to clips of sunny fields, crowds dancing under strings of lights, and the faint sound of a DJ mixing in the background. The following weeks blurred into a montage of FaceTime calls, late-night messages, and long-distance planning. Sydney returned to the US but found herself booking another ticket back to South Africa sooner than she expected. "I met his whole family on that second trip," she recalled. "And I mean, his whole family, cousins, uncles, family friends who've known him since he was in diapers. We were just in sync. Compatible in every way. I didn't even know love like this existed before him." Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and do not miss any update.